Hello and welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot. Today there is a reading I have planned for you that I am really excited about because it's a topic I love, which is in the astrological realm, but in the Chinese zodiac. So we are switching to the year of the Yin Water Rabbit from the year of the Yang Water Tiger on February 4th. We just had Lunar New Year, which is this transition time is always celebrated culturally at the second new moon after Winter Solstice, but it's just sort of a nice marker to have. New moons are always a great time to kind of out with the old and with the new vibe, but astrologically speaking, the actual animal transition happens usually on February 4th. It's always at the midpoint between Winter Solstice and Spring Equinox, which most years that falls on about February 4th, and this year that is the case. So this reading should be up before that point, and I just wanted to get sort of like a nice snapshot of what this Yin Water Dragon might bring out of us. How is it going to interact? What is that interaction going to result in terms of, I kind of have two things mainly I want to look at, like how will that make us feel in our bodies? What will that embodiment of the Yin Water Rabbit feel like? How will the year feel? And then what kind of circumstances might that energy bring into our life? What, through interaction with this animal year, what sort of events might that kind of, just channel around us? So that being said, I've got 4 different stones to choose your pile, kind of placeholders to hold the energy of the piles. And so we've got pile 1, which is green malachite, or just malachite. I don't think I need to say it's green. Pile 2, we've got Lemurian quartz. This one's a really pretty, very, very soft, kind of pinky color. Pile 3, we've got a clear crystal quartz point. And pile 4, we've got a beautiful piece of pyrite. Okay, so for those of you that like the breath work I do, we will do that now to help you to get into your body, as well as open up some chakras that can help you, find inspiration, inner knowing, intuition. So really put your feet on the ground. Feel that ground below you, the support that provides, and try and really drop into your body. Feel the weight of your body pulled into that gravity. And now take a deep breath in and suck that air up, up, up to the space between your brows. Hold it there to add some pressure. And then with an out loud exhale, release your breath. And this will also open the crown chakra and third eye. All right, so if you need more time with your whatever process you have, or more breathing, or just sensing into these different rock/piles, you can pause here, and then when you are ready, timestamps will be in the descriptions. All right, I'll see you guys in your piles. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading all about the Yin Water Rabbit Year and how that is what that's going to feel like to you and what kind of circumstances or events might that bring into your life. Okay, so you guys were the Malachite stone. I'm just going to place that up here. So we're going to start with how is the year going to feel, and this is just popped right out. Partially like embodiment, like physically, how is this year going to feel? Sensation-wise, perception-wise, embodiment-wise. And you guys got the Muladhara, which is the root chakra. So there's something about this Yin Water Rabbit Year that is really going to make you feel a bit more grounded in your life than is usual, which could bring you some needed energy and some needed sense of feeling connected and a sense of belonging in life, as well as this energy and drive to sort of build your life on the foundational level. Do a lot more energetic, active assertion in making your surroundings feel nice, making them look like you, feel like you, move like you, just like really being able to mold certain things in your environment due to how you feel grounded and energetic. Okay, and then let's pull some tarot cards to get some more context about this. So 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, Page of Swords, and then one more, King of Wands. Beautiful. Okay, so let's download this energy. Yeah, I think that you're going to have a really, I'm going to segregate these and get to those second. I want to start with these 2 cards. There's going to be a really nice, and I'm seeing where that root chakra is really ignited for you and how it's influencing your life through these 2 cards. And they're a nice balance for each other. 4 of Cups on its own can kind of wallow in this place of really needing to sit in sensing into itself and trying to figure out if it's sort of like ready yet to step into the world, and having a little bit of resistance in coming out, and like really feeling this sense that it still is needing to nurture and nourish something. So I just want to stay put and sort of like in the Hobbit, where is it the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, where Gollum, I think it's in Lord of the Rings when they find Gollum with the ring. Yeah, it is Lord of the Rings. And he's like down in his cave and he just doesn't want to let go of that ring, and he's like, it's my precious, not comparing you to Gollum, but there is this sense of really wanting to protect something that you really cherish, and not wanting it to, like, not feeling like it's ready to be out in the world. But then this 8 of Pentacles pulling at you and saying that you have a skill set that is really valuable, and you're having the energy and the motivation and the drive this year within you that's competing with that sense of like, I'm not like this, something about me or something about what I'm protecting this year is not quite ready to be in the light yet. This other side of you is like no, I have this skill that I feel within me that has so much potential, and I really want to develop it. And it's like a nice balance, because the Eight of Pentacles is activating you more than if this were just on its own, the Four of Cups. And then the Four of Cups is providing a little bit of patience and protection and nourishing, of giving time and space to develop something and really give energy over to developing something. So instead of just sitting on something like the Four of Cups might, you're putting action into developing it, but you're still kind of protecting it this year. And through that, you're really deepening, you're really grounding into yourself and finding new energy and new strength. And it's like really developing your sense of feeling held and grounded in life, because you're taking the time to self-care, to nurture, to protect, and equally taking the time to really develop something and hone a craft or a skill that can make you invaluable in the world. And then we've got the Page of Swords and the King of Wands, which is really fun to see. I think your mind is going to be alive with a lot of curiosity, and that might be what sort of is driving you. Both of these really, but that page energy is driving you to explore something new within yourself and really feeling into that, feeling the different colors within you, really getting in touch with the fact that you aren't just one single tone of a person, like you are a whole spectrum of colors and a whole layered being, like an onion of different senses of self and archetypes, and just like really understanding in like a very fresh new lens and new way how multidimensional you are, and feeling really eager and youthful and interested to feel that within yourself. And then the King of Wands, I'm going to say, is really touching into this Eight of Pentacles energy of sort of like this knowing, this knowingness that there is something within you that either you already have mastered or have the capacity to master or want to master, whatever resonates for you. But I think that's the drive really behind you wanting to put a lot of effort into developing a skill, a craft, a talent, whatever it is, a capability. It's like this inner knowing that you have of like, I know I'm an authority in this, but I just need to like hone it and mold it and really, yeah, that sensitivity of the rabbit and the fluidity of the water is really driving you into this really beautiful, fertile, rich territory within your body and what you sense and feel, that it is alive, but it's also somewhat private, but putting a lot of energy into really developing yourself this year, really making the creative authority you know you are or capable of being, molding it this year in a little bit outside of the gaze of the world, but in preparation for it to shine and be in the world. Okay, last card for this aspect that I want to pull is from the Wise Animal Body deck, and I'll probably read from the book for this. It's a new deck to me, and it's really, you know, some decks you get and, you know, you enjoy it, maybe the artwork is great and you play with it and you connect with it, and, you know, some decks you just don't connect with, and then there's some that are just like magical, and this is the way I've connected to this deck. I pull one of these every single day, and every single day it gives me the exact guidance I need for my body. Okay, attend and awaken. So this is about your third eye chakra. And let's see what the book has to say about it, because I love the descriptions in the book. Okay. And it's on page 33, which is a master number of like being a master teacher. So that's even another thing. There's a sense inside of you, something you're feeling into about becoming a master teacher of something even. Okay. Okay, the sixth chakra, known as the third eye or ajna, is located in the center of the forehead between the eyebrows. It represents our inner sight, perception of the mind, our ability to glean information clearly, and our fundamental foundational relationship to spirituality. When in alignment, we may have a close connection with our own mind and feel that we understand its true nature. We have lucid consciousness and can sense the link between mind and body, which is so beautiful because I was thinking about that. These are very different chakras. They're both a chakra association, Muladhara, the root, and this awaken, which is the third eye. And so I think there's going to be a deep relationship this year with you in terms of having a lot of inner knowing and insight and psychic ability about what grounds you and about how to be grounded and embodied. Okay, because thoughts become things, we pay homage to the seed thoughts that have eventually become our words and actions. I'm going to skip that section. Question. When you peer into your own mind, what do you see? What do you hear? Thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky, but if they are troublesome and are having a negative impact on your experience, what are they? Can you identify them? So the task of this card, inner sight, is invaluable. Becoming attuned to the nature of our minds instead of enslaved to habitual thought patterns is a gift we can give ourselves regardless of conditioning or education. It takes time and sometimes endless patience, which the Four of Cups is giving you, but is a worthwhile journey. Sit or lay down in a comfortable position, just like the Four of Cups. Take a deep breath and defy gravity. Imagine the breath filling up your mind and swirling between your eyes, envisioning it feeding your mind and busting any clouds that have muddied up your inner landscape. Practice allowing thoughts to come and go and do your best to not become attached to any of them, be they good or bad. And your mantra, the more clearly I see inward, the more clearly I see outward. So that's part of what this Four of Cups is talking about, is you are taking time to be still, to be with your inner knowing, to get in touch with your inner sight. So that's beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now we want to look at what kind of circumstances. So this is sort of about how you're feeling and then what that feeling kind of leads to. And now we want to look at what kind of like external things will be coming into your life because of the water rabbit energy. Transformation, beautiful. And peacock, gorgeous. And the peacock says under it, self-love, take time to celebrate you and your magnificent light. So I feel like, in the context of these cards representing external forces, I really think that certain circumstances are going to be coming into your life that are really mirroring to you big changes that you have made in your life to sort of transform and empower yourself. And I think it's some things you've done through a sense of self-love. And I think that the world is coming in to celebrate this new light that you're emanating, that you've transformed into. I think probably in the past year, if not 2 or 3 years, you've probably been undergoing some pretty epic changes. And I think that they have probably been established, and this is a year that's coming in, and the sensitivity of the rabbit is really tuned into this and witnessing it and mirroring it back to you and saying, wow, look how magnificent your light is. Look how well you loved yourself enough to really get in touch with what kind of empowerment you needed and how you needed to be empowered, and look how empowered you are now. And so circumstances kind of, I feel like, celebrating you, which is gorgeous. Yeah, 10 of Cups, a lot of fulfillment, a lot of events and situations coming in that will make you feel fulfilled, that will mirror to you your compassionate action, your compassionate capability, your ability to orchestrate in life, to hold complexity and create legacy, really. I know that's not always what this card's associated with, but that's what I'm feeling. We've got the Devil. Let's get a few more cards out so that we have more context for that. Divine Feminine. Oops. Moon. And maybe we can fit one more. I was just going to do 4, but let's do 5. I love Divine Feminine and Moon coming out. A lot of major arcana cards there for you. 4 in a row. 4 major arcana, and then the beautiful 10 of Cups as well. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? Like, this is really it's going to be circumstantially, event-wise, how the outer world feels to you. It's going to be a really gorgeous year. I think you're really going to be seeing a sort of summit you're able to sit on, but it will bring a lot of responsibilities onto your shoulders. The world is going to want to give you a lot of responsibilities, which could in some sense make you feel a little bit more tied down than you've felt in the past year or two. But I think it feels good. Like, the sense I get from this Devil card is like, right now, for the energy of this year where you are in your life, it's like you're ready to be tied down a little to hold the responsibilities, to kind of pander to expectations and appearance in some way. And really, it having to do with things a little bit either artistic or spiritual in nature, maybe even imaginative, something just, it feels creative to me, absolutely. Something creative that you're having a lot of responsibility in, a lot of fertile energy here, some complexity, but again, fertility, because we've got the Hathor goddess here, cow goddess, which is, usually the moon in tarot is a little bit of a nebulous thing, but I'm feeling very similar mirrored energy between the Divine Feminine and the moon in this deck. It's very fertile territory. Really feeling your expression, really feeling your grounding, really feeling manifesting power and being able to make a lot out of nothing. And this is all stuff from the outside world, circumstances and events, pushing on these things in you, for you to see about yourself, to have to pull out of yourself. And it's all gorgeous, like what the world wants to bring to you and reflect to you and push on you is like just how huge of a capacity you have around creativity, around fertility, around manifesting, around just a beautiful feminine expression, and also an ability to really hold responsibility and position in the world. And yeah, it's like legacy is being founded. That's why that legacy word came to me. Legacy is going to be founded this year. Something about legacy, and the world, circumstances and events of the world are really opening their doors to you. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful year to really take advantage of what opens to you. And, you know, more inside of you, you're really developing, you know, going back to this, how the year feels internally to you. You're also getting the space to develop and have a little bit of protection around you within this, to have space to really create a balanced sort of flow about all of this and not totally overwhelm yourself. Like if the devil were surrounded by other cards, I think that I could have seen some overwhelm here, but it feels like you're holding certain responsibilities the world is asking you to hold, but in things that are like very pleasurable. And you're like, hell yeah, I'll hold responsibility for this. This feels so good. This is awesome kind of thing. Like this is, I almost like, it's like easy. It's easy to hold responsibility here. Because of that, I also have the time to continue to develop something inside of me that is really coming into a certain mastery, and I'm really starting to feel grounded by that. And then going back to that peacock, that self-love, I think there's just even more transformation. Like, you know, I already think you've done a lot, and the world is seeing that, but it's just like giving you so much more support. It's sort of like you've said yes to the universe. Like this feels good. I love the transformation I've had the opportunity to make and what that's bringing me. And you're saying yes to it. So the universe is bringing more of it and more just recognition of your capacity for self-love and the light that envelops you in. So gorgeous. Okay, I need to stop. Okay, we're going to do a couple of tea leaf cards, and then we will end off on just a little message from the crystal realm to end the reading. Okay, these two want to come out. Oh, 3. So dog, close up, pleasure with a close friend. Ant, work, achievement, success. Yeah. And key, successful outcome to your problems. And that's the transformation. I think that you're attending to what you need to. You're finding pleasure in it. You're doing it for you. You're empowering yourself because you're really attending to what feels good to you. You're taking the space to meditate on it, to really get into your inner knowing, really developing intuition around what you're doing, what you're developing, who you are, where you're going. And it all just, it just leads to positive outcomes and successes and achievements. And then I love seeing this pleasure with a close friend, which is indicating even more of a balance coming in here. So not even just about like what I felt like this kind of achievement, but in this fertile creative way. And then this deep developing of skills. It was all kind of very almost work feeling, but then this pleasure with a close friend is coming in to show that there's even more balance within this of like caring for yourself and protecting things you're developing and still holding pressure in the world. It's like, but you're also finding time for pleasure and fun socially. So really, really gorgeous. I love what this Water Rabbit Year is bringing within you and into your world. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Wow. I mean, this is one of the best sort of card orchestrations I've felt for a long time. So have have at it this year. Really gorgeous stuff. All right, if this resonated for you, I always appreciate thumbs up. It's a very simple way to support my channel, and definitely subscribe if you're not, as well as if there's any little things you have to say. Little comments are fun to read as well. Okay, happy rabbit year. See you guys. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your year of the water rabbit reading. If this is you guys, you picked this beautiful, this is one of my favorite stones I have, just this beautiful Lemurian quartz. We're going to place it over here for the time being. Well, there we go. Okay, so there's really two, actually I wanted more out of the way. There's really two kind of categories I want to look at here. Sort of how you're feeling within yourself this year. How does the water rabbit, the energy of the water rabbit make you feel? And what does that lead to? And then we're going to look at, after that, what kind of circumstances and sort of more outside events will the water rabbit bring into your year? Okay, so to start out with how this water rabbit energy and archetype is going to make you feel. We've got Yanni, beautiful. I think this is very just feeling your sensuality, your beauty, your a blossoming of your inner world and your soul, and just a deep sensuality as well. Really gorgeous. Okay, let's pull some tarot cards to get a little bit of context around this. Wow. Okay, got two that popped right out. Knight of Pentacles, Mercury. Get a couple more. Balance, and Eight of Swords. Okay, interesting. Yeah, what's interesting is I almost feel with the Knight of Pentacles, this mirror with the Balance card. In the Balance card, I feel like this woman is like really grounding into life and finding an internal sense of, and knowing and emanating a sense of balance. And then this Knight of Pentacles, like feeling balanced in an embodied way. So it's sort of like this rabbit year is going to make you feel both emotionally and physically and mentally very balanced. Very, yeah, understanding how to move with the currents of your body, the currents of its nervous system, of its stresses, of its joys, of its excitement, of its need for rest. Like, just like really, I don't know, it's like you're really getting a hold of your particular wiring and rhythms and needs, and just like you're fully like attuned to all of your layers, all of your body, like different, you know, the physical body, the mental body, the emotional or astral body, like all of them. It's like you really have got a hold on it this year. Something about that water, that sensitivity of the rabbit and that fluidity of the water, just like really has you finding, I keep wanting to do this, like finding your rhythm, finding, like feeling exactly how to flow with any given moment or circumstance, how to respond. That's what it is. It's like, you know exactly how to respond to things this year with the water rabbit energy. And then Mercury, it's like, because you have that very harmonized feeling about you, it's allowing you to really get curious about life, really down, it's like you're learning, oh, I love this, what's coming. So the way Water Rabbit is making you feel and that balance it's bringing you, it's helping you to download the information behind that. Instead of just having that sensation, because there's certain energies around the year, it's sort of like you're also getting downloads of the science behind this, so that in future years, when you don't have the water rabbit energy around you, you've downloaded what you need to understand and know for this to be more permanently wired within you. So it's really embodying this balance in all of your layers is bringing so much beautiful understanding and information and knowledge to establish this within you more permanently, which is so great. And then what I see that doing is like really breaking you out of certain old patterns you've had of feeling like trapped in your body, or trapped by maybe even all of your bodies, trapped in certain ways around your physical body, trapped in certain ways around your mental body, trapped in certain ways around your emotional or astral body. And it's like the things that this year makes you feel, and the balance it gives, and the downloads it offers to understand the science behind the balance that this year establishes. It's like jailbreaks you out of areas you've felt confined in and paralyzed by in certain ways. So that's so gorgeous. Okay, now we are going to end this section within the reading. Pick a card from the Wise Animal Body. And this is a deck that is new to me, and so I'm going to read from the book, but I also just want to say, I don't know if I've ever had an oracle deck feel so magical to me. I pick one of these cards every day, and the wisdom it offers is always so on point for what I need on that specific day. And it's just, I don't know. Like whatever energy went into this deck is magic. Okay, so tighten and loosen. Okay, let's read into this. And I love that having to do with some sort of balance too. Tighten and loosen. Balancing a polarity there still. Okay, so this is 102. Okay, insight, also known as progressive muscle relaxation or PMR. This is a two-step technique that develops mindfulness about where we are tense in our bodies by exaggerating it briefly, then consciously releasing it. Most of us carry tension that we are unaware of. Clenched jaw, tight shoulders, tense neck, back. We may even flex our feet and not be fully cognizant of doing so. Becoming aware of hidden, stored tension can go a long way in discharging it over time. Question: if you do a quick body scan right now, can you pinpoint any areas of tension? Are you aware of bodily tension that you can seem to do away with? And then the wise body task: get yourself in a comfortable position, ideally in a recline, but not completely lying down, as the goal is to remain awake during the process. Begin with your face, forehead, and jaw. Furrow your brow for a few seconds, then relax it. Scrunch up your nose and relax it. Clench your jaw and relax it. Move down slowly, so your shoulders through your large and small muscle groups of your arms, then your chest, abdomen, pelvis, buttock, legs, feet. Be very careful not to hurt yourself by tensing too hard. Spend a few moments on each body part. Take note of how you feel before and after. Mantra: I dissolve tension with a daily mindful practice. What a gorgeous thing to be given as wisdom for what you need to, wisdom for your feeling, how this year makes you feel. It's like really dissolving away tensions. and finding that beautiful harmonized balance where things feel elegant, and that perfect place between tight and loose, where you're not too tight but you're not too loose, like finding that perfect sweet spot. Another thing, so this brought up to me very similar to a practice called somatic stretching. So that's another thing to look into. It's very similar to what that book described. Okay, let's go to that next section I talked about. Let's look at what this Yin Water Rabbit energy and character might bring into your life. What kind of outside circumstances will this energy tend to want to bring your way? Flow, I mean, that makes sense. It's the water rabbit, you know? Okay, and then let's pick a little animal. And butterfly. Emerging, take the leap of faith. How beautiful. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this mirrors like what's coming from the outside world, and then what's you feel sensationally in you seem to feel quite mirrored to me. It's like finding that flow, finding that path of least resistance, and that perfectly attuned, harmonized path where there's balance. And you know, flow states, some of the science behind it has to do with putting yourself into things in a way that where you already have like some skill developed that you can lean on. So there's already some innate something there, but challenging yourself just to a point of it not feeling like really weighty. And there's something about that, like leaning into a talent and challenging it just a bit, really kind of creates that flow state. And it's, again, to me, like this balance point of not being too lackadaisical with life, but not being too stressed out and hyper wired about life, like finding that middle ground. And so finding your flow state, and there's like energy around you in the external world that's in that flow state. And so it's bringing just like very magical openings, ability, you know, it's bringing like channels and currents into your life that you can just like jump into and take that leap of faith. So notice those channels that just seem to be going where you want to go, and allow yourself to be picked up in them and emerge, you know, that emerge, like the world wants you to emerge in some way this year, and it should feel easy because of that, because it's already bringing you currents that are in flow states that are just totally in tune with you, because you're so in tune with yourself, and it just is helping you to emerge in some way. Let's pick some tarot cards to get some context about that. Like, what is this emerging and flow and currents? High Priestess, beautiful. I feel like this one wanted to come out too. The Fool, gorgeous. Oh, so far, pile 1 and pile 2 have had such gorgeous readings. Ace of Pentacles, wow. Aeon, which I believe is, I actually have to grab the book for this. I don't remember if this is the Tower or Judgment. I don't know. There's like a 2 or 3 cards where I'm like, it's either that or that, but I have to look it up. Sorry, little delay here so I can make sure. think it must be Judgment. World. Yeah, Judgment. So it's the Judgment card. That's what I thought. Sorry, I just wanted to be sure what I was looking at here. Okay, one more. Queen of Swords. I mean, gosh, these are so beautiful. Okay, so new doors opening to you. We've got Fool and Ace of Pentacles. So new opportunities flowing your way through this rabbit energy, especially around financial matters, maybe new income, new job, new sense of power around just generally how you're wanting to mold your physical reality or even your body. But just like beautiful, interesting, that's what I'm getting. Not just, it's like a frequency shift. There's almost like a portal in this Fool card. It's like a frequency shift opens up to you to really walk towards a new sense of the material realm, and in a way where you're much more empowered than you have been. And I feel like this High Priestess is more something about you than the outer world. It's like, trust your intuition with this. You'll know when it's right to go through those portals or those frequency shifts. Yeah. And then, Judgment, it's saying, yeah, it's the end. This year, this water rabbit is putting an end to some mode of being, some chapter of your life. It really wants you, the sensitivity of the rabbit and the flow that it brings and the magic it welds, that concoction of water and rabbit to me is just so magical. It's really bringing in, there's something about that magic and that energy that's really bringing in an end of an era for you and opening up whole new ways of being. It's like it's opening you to go through a frequency shift that's so much more, and that's it. That's so much more in tune with who you are and who you've become. And I'm such a believer of what we cultivate, how we feel within ourselves gets mirrored to us through what the world presents to us. So it's hard to fully separate these two. And I'm just seeing this so much that like the attunement you are really finding and able to drop into, as well as like understand how that happens through this year's energy. The outer world responds to that by presenting you with frequency shifts in the outer world that close out chapters that aren't in tune with you anymore and really open up gates and new frequency shifts to enter new paths that are so much more attuned to you. And then the Queen of Swords, just like the High Priestess, is just saying like, well, there's a little difference here to me. The High Priestess is like, trust your intuition, your inner knowing. You'll know when these are presented to you. And then this Queen of Swords, I feel a little bit more in relation to the Eon, the judgment call. There's going to be a judgment that comes down, and I feel like the Queen of Swords is saying that it's partially going to be you that needs to make the judgment call and a decision. You need to get really clear and make a really firm, decisive decision by some of the outside events that come into your life. But it's sort of like, let your High Priestess communicate to you when to trust that. And then your Queen can then project that in the outer world and say, this is the decision I'm making, but you are going to be the judge for you. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay. Kind of coming into the tail end, we're going to pick a couple of tea leaf cards and then get a message from the crystal realm. Okay, let's see what the tea leaves have We've got bowl, plenty of material things. That's always nice. I mean, Ace of Pentacles, that makes sense. Wreath, sorrow over a loss. So that could be, you know, that sheds some light on this judgment and you having to make a decision. You may need to leave certain things behind, but you just have to trust that wherever is opening to you and that frequency shift that's being presented to you, I think in order to say yes to that, you have to leave certain things behind, but just know that that frequency shift is what is in tune with who you are now and it's meant to be, you know. And that's just part of life. Sometimes it's hard to leave old chapters. There's, you know, a whole host of things, hard and beautiful and difficult and exciting, you know, but there's something that you'll probably have to leave behind that's hard, but you always have those memories. And I don't believe that when we leave certain things behind that they're like lost forever. We have memories, we have ways of, you know, sometimes it's not like this, like a death of someone. It's just like moving to a new chapter or a new town, and you can still come back and visit, you know, every once in a while, or social media, you know, whatever. But then flute, disappointment in a friend or lover. And so that might be connected to the sorrow over a loss. Maybe you have to leave something social behind. And it's weird because that's what I was feeling. And that's why I said, like, maybe you're, you know, moved to a new town and you can still go visit sometimes. And I feel like that's something in that. It might not be exactly that for all of you, but there's something there. Like, I think there's something social you're leaving behind with this new frequency shift. Okay, let's get a last message from the crystal realm. Woo, that one wants to come out. Hematite, ground yourself. Beautiful. I mean, that's always good to, good advice at any point is to ground ourselves. But that does make me think that it's going to be a very active year, or like maybe a lot of changes, a lot of excitement. Yeah, with that flow and that butterfly, I'm feeling excitement. And so grounding yourself is not to like get too out of this world. If we don't ground ourselves, we can't manifest into the 3D realm. And so with all of these shifts and flow states and the magic there, work on grounding in order to really ground the changes and the shifts into your life and ground this balance into your life. So beautiful, gorgeous readings. Wow, I'm getting really excited for Water Rabbit Year, if it's anything like these first two readings for me, at least. Yeah, anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you. If you enjoyed this, I always appreciate a thumbs up or a little comment, and definitely subscribe if you haven't yet and you want more of my readings. Okay, see you guys. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading all about the Yin Water Rabbit for you. And you guys picked this clear crystal quartz, gorgeous. And we're just going to place it over here for your reading. Okay, so there's two parts to this. I want to look at how is this energy of the Yin Water Rabbit going to make you feel? And through that feeling, what kind of comes of that, flows from that. And then I want to look at, secondly, through the energy of Yin Water Rabbit, what kind of circumstances does that bring into your life from sort of the outside realm? And honestly, what I've been finding in these readings is our inner world is such the anchor point for what gets reflected into our outside world. And so sometimes it's hard, you know, I've seen just like a lot of crossover. There's definitely ways to differentiate them, but there, you know, I've tended to be like, yeah, I mean, these are so related as they should be, you know. It's the law of correspondences, or of correspondence of as above, so below, as within, so without. So we're going to look at the within first. How is this energy of the Yin Water Rabbit going to make you feel? Cognizance, which is so aligned with your stone. That doesn't always happen, but the stone and the reading are like completely synced. Clarity, mental clarity, mental strength, mental I feel like a leveling up in consciousness, a real sudden ability to see and understand where your consciousness is and how to work with it and move it and elevate it and mold it and shift it. And just a really beautiful, that sensitivity of the rabbit is somehow working with your understanding of like that, your mental body, and really being able to understand things more concretely, more easily, more clearly. Gorgeous. Okay, let's do some tarot to get a little bit of context around this now. Chariot, gorgeous. Four of Wands. I'm loving this. Lovers. Man, these. An Ace of Wands. You guys, these readings, I don't know. There's magic with this Water Rabbit Year. Pile 1 and 2 were both just overwhelmingly gorgeous reads, and we have it again. Like, holy shit. Sorry, there's like flooded with energy, so I just need to take 1 second to even process what I put down. Wow, it's like I just keep feeling this energy rising, and that makes sense with cognizance, that mental body. It's like you're moving from a grounded place, and that grounding within you is helping you now to reach and to understand and to download and to celebrate. And it's like you're elevating. Just like so much clarity is rising within you. You're finding, I think because you've taken some time to really, and I'm seeing this specifically through Chariot and the Ace of Wands, as I feel like you've taken, or you will be taking the time to really ground in life and get aligned with soul and what you need to feel energy and drive. And because you do that process of like really deeply aligning within yourself and grounding and energizing, it's like that's like the process of winding up that Energizer bunny. It's like you go through these cycles, I think, of like the winding up and grounding and restoring and refurbishing and rejuvenating and refilling your cup, and then it's like go. And so I think you go through these cycles of it, because I see Chariot, go, Ace of Wands, and I think it starts over. Chariot, go, Ace of Wands. So I think it's like going to be this cyclical process this year, which makes sense with the Chariot, because it is related to Cancer, which is like a lunar sign. So cycles, like it's very cyclical in your the way you feel this year, and it's going to go from deep grounding, restoring, reviving your energy into like go, go, go. And that clarity that you're able to find this year in order to elevate consciousness, understand your consciousness, understand things much more clearly in general. It starts in this grounding process, kind of paradoxically. And because you find through that grounding, it's like you find that alignment, and that just lets things then elevate. Yeah, and just a lot of celebratory feeling too, of like community coming in, energy, just a celebration of life. It's like everything feels just clear. And that knowing of that cycle of what brings clarity also, just like you're really getting a hold of and I mean, once again, what comes in and what's come in the previous two piles is like the sensitivity of the rabbit and that fluidity of the water element is just like, it's like it, for you specifically, what's coming through is like it's clearing away. It's clearing certain layers away that have confounded you of how to find your rhythm. And it's brought like distortion in your mental field. And it's like this year, the sensitivity and the flow is just like washing that away so gently and so easily. And all of a sudden it just downloads like, oh, this is my process. This is what I need to do to feel right inside of me. And that rightness inside of me just elevates my understanding of myself, of life, and just elevates everything. And that is to be celebrated. And that brings me into touch with people and communities that I feel so much more held by and seen by, and that have that same energy, that same clarity, that same wisdom that I've found. It's like I've found my people, and we're all celebrating together this deep understanding of this. Just feels like a healthier and finding the people that know the secrets of health, and you being one of them all of a sudden, and that feeling just beautiful and exciting and celebratory and gorgeous. So yeah, I mean, wow, so beautiful. Okay, I'm also going to end this section within the reading with a wise animal body card. And this is a deck that's new to me, and I don't know that I've ever connected to a deck so profoundly as to this one. Like, I pick one card every day, and every day it brings me the exact, like, just so specifically pinpointed to what I needed to know for my body that day. It's just like, bam. So hopefully this hits for you guys too. So attend and say. So this is going to be about the the throat chakra. And I'm going to read from the book because, I mean, it's just like so eloquently worded here, and there's like a lot of research in how it's put together, so it's worth diving into the words of what's her name? It's that Serpent Tarot. What's her name? Now I feel like I have to say her name because well, anyway, on Instagram it's Serpent Fire or Serpent Tarot, Serpent Fire. Look her up. All of these decks are actually hers. I actually didn't really notice that till right now. The Sigil Oracle, the Wolfe Tarot, and the Wise Animal Body. Okay. Attend, say. It's actually almost 4 pages, but that's all right. Okay, the 5th chakra, also known as the throat or Vishuddha, is located in the neck and governs our communication. That makes sense with cognizance. Okay. When in alignment, we are able to speak our heart and mind clearly. Exactly. Not only are you clear, you're able to speak this clearly. Speak the clarity with articulate, like not only are you cognizantly becoming clear and elevating your consciousness, but your articulation is refining this year. We don't just rush our speech, feel the need to over-explain ourselves, and we have good boundaries in place for explanations, reasoning, justification. We find that our communication comes across more or less the way we want it to, and it is reciprocated more easily. When blocked, we may be more on the defensive or offensive, over or under explaining ourselves. We may have more difficulty getting our points and ideas across, which may lead to anxiety, frustration, and more conflict. Neurodivergent folk may have challenges with communication from the outset, which, because of living in a neurotypical society, can be exacerbated significantly by bullying and alienation. Trauma also plays a large role in how adaptive and outward our vocalization is. Sometimes we do not wish or do not have a safe place to speak on what has happened to us. It is a complex issue, and there ought to be no shame when it comes to how or when we choose to speak. This is simply meant to be a broad guide for removing any blockages you should desire or need. Question: what is your current relationship with communication? Do you enjoy it or do you dread it? What are some of the reasons for both? If you have challenges, can you identify what they are? The wise body task: sit or lay down in a comfortable position. Take a deep breath and visualize the breath traveling into your throat and filling up your vocal cords with life-giving energy. Imagine there being new vital space for your words to take shape. Once you've done this, pull another card. This card will contain insight into any current blockage you may have and how to massage it. Whatever the suggestion may be, give it a try in private while you're alone. Record any of the results in a journal or audio. I want to say with that task that I'm not going to pull another card on my end. I feel like this is like a daily or weekly or monthly, whatever feels reasonable to you, kind of task on your end to pull a card, or as you do kind of the breathing and visualization, any insight that comes to you, but just like a regular practice around your throat chakra and what it's wanting to say, where it might be blocked, where it's eager to speak, anything around that. Okay. If you are feeling ready, you can begin to express yourself to safe people in your life so that the aspects of your communication that have felt blocked will find a place to live that is not only within your own body. And I feel like, yeah, you're going to be finding community where it feels very safe for you to speak. Mantra: I speak clearly and directly with myself first. Cognizance, real clarity coming through, and this leads to effective communication with others. One thing you may want to look up, I'm not an expert on mudras, which are like hand symbols, but I know that there's one that is very specifically for like having a very clear mind, which leads to clear articulation and some power. So you could, if you wanted to go extra, you could look up hand mudras for like clarity of mind. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to move to the second part of the reading, which is sort of like what, so this is how you're feeling internally, what the energies of the Yin Water Rabbit are kind of bringing up within you and what it feels like in this year. And so now we're going to look at externally what kind of energy and circumstances is the Yin Water Rabbit bringing in. So we've got patience, and snake. Kundalini rising. Channel your creative passion and sensuality. Welcome the transformation. Oh, I love this. Yeah, so I feel like the outside world, in reflection of you raising your consciousness through grounding practices, is bringing in external things that are really tapping into and allowing you to get in touch with your sensuality and your creativity, and helping you to see ways in which kind of press upon you things that will kind of transform you. And it's sort of a, I think of the snake, and it is a more sensual creature, and it's slower generally. I mean, it can be fast in moments, but generally it kind of goes slow, and it, basks in the sun and whatnot. And so it's like a slow process of generating patience and just like really getting in touch with your senses. So something about the outer world is really kind of pushing upon this for you to dive into this process. Yeah, of like really, getting in touch with your sensuality, and that bringing that also, I mean, you think of Kundalini, and that is a rising of energy starting with the root chakra. Like I said, it's hard sometimes to detangle these because it's a reflection of one another. Okay, so we've got 5 of Cups, 2 of Cups, Divine Masculine. Do a couple more. Oh, we've got 2, 6 of Cups and 4 of Pentacles. Let's see. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so look at the snake right next to the 5 of Cups, has snakes in it right next to the snake card. And that's what I'm seeing. It's like the 5 of Cups has you. So certain outer world circumstances are kind of coming in, and events are sort of coming in to really bring more your senses alive. So I don't know if like all of a sudden like a friend is going to be like, come take yoga with me, or a mindfulness class, or you start finding yourself more and more around people that know a lot about, or invite you to things like retreats or workshops or something that are like teaching you these new spiritual practices. And I don't know why like this is the scenario I'm feeling, but like that's what I feel. It's like new people entering your life that are opening up opportunities to you. And these opportunities are teaching you a lot about getting in touch with your senses, and about how it is starting from that root chakra, that grounding that really awakens energy, and that energy elevating and just, like bringing transformation. And I think it's going to feel like a departure. I think that, I just get this sense that new people are coming in. I don't know why, because it's not like I see that dramatically in the cards, but that's what's coming. It's like new people coming in. You're going to have to leave maybe some old social realm behind a little bit. Maybe not like a forever break, but it's just like you're gravitating more and more towards different people that are new to you, and just so many opportunities coming there that are really so much more aligned with who you are, and getting you aligned with yourself as well. That's just activating, it's just giving you the energy you've maybe lacked. Life, external circumstances, the doors opening to you, the events presenting themselves to you, the things coming into your life are energizing you this year. And they're giving you focus. They're giving you to mirror that clarity coming in, they're giving, you know, external things are really also mirroring that and making things very clear about how you want to move forward and opening doors toward that because you're clear about it. So really, really moving forward in new, more aligned, beautiful ways this year with a lot of energy and a lot of clarity. And I think you're just, you know, you're feeling good within yourself. You're feeling more, as the external world and circumstances coming in are pushing you towards things that are making you feel clearer and better about yourself and more embodied at the same time. It's like you're having a rebirth of body, and you're remembering from much, much younger days how it felt to be in your body, and it's like reawakening, which is awakening lots of old beautiful memories about body and self. But you're just, I don't know, I just see you compared to where you've been the past couple of years, just like really feeling in your body in a much more beautiful way than you've felt for some time. And I'm actually reading the Four of Pentacles more as body than material too. It's like just stable, just really solid, really concrete, really stable. And then we've got these bird heads, bird here, bird head, just it's like a knowing, and the universe mirroring to you this clarity, this knowing of like much more stability in body, more strengthening, more aligning, more just paying it, like getting in touch with body and understanding that that's the starting place for allowing your mind to get clear and elevate, and just feeling so stable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It just all, so far, the first 3 readings have been just so gorgeous. Really excited for this Yin Water energy, Yin Rabbit energy, Water Rabbit. Okay, we're going to pick a couple of tea leaf cards and then a message from the crystal realm to end. Got older man, dealings or relationship with an older man. So that might be like a teacher coming in, because I am feeling that sense of like, you know, like learning new things, going to new types of, developing like a new practice or something. It's like a mindfulness teacher, or, you know, something in that realm. Or there could just be, you know, for some of you, maybe there's just an older man that's important this year that needs more attention or something. And then kangaroo, unsettled times, need to plan ahead. And then one more, haystack, karma, you will reap what you have sown. I think this planning ahead is just like you're shifting. You're going toward, you know, like it's like you're rebuilding, you're getting so much more clarity about what you want and where you're going. And so it's like a really beneficial year on top of that to really use some foresight and some planning, because things are changing, which can bring an unsettled feeling. So even though you're clear, that clarity is creating shifts. And so foresight, planning, having goals, knowing where you're, you know, specifically wanting to go, hence limiting other things, will help that unsettling things or things you're kind of shifting away from not feel as unsettled. It's like creating plans for the future, creates structure so that the unsettled, what you're leaving behind, doesn't consume you or feel too destabilizing because you've got a plan, you know. That's how I feel that. And then karma, you will reap what you have sown. So what I feel about that is like the effort you put into going through that process of like grounding and then awakening, and the clarity that brings, which then brings articulation. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it, is what I feel there. Pretty clear. Okay. Oh yeah, one more crystal. We're going to pick a message from the crystal realm to leave you with. Citrine. Bring in the light. Yeah, right under cognizance. Exactly. It's like ground first, find the energy and awaken, and you start to see things in a much more light, clear way. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, that feels very aligned. All right, this is where I'm going to leave your Yin Water Year reading. I hope this resonated. If you enjoyed it, I always appreciate a thumbs up, and little comments are fun as well. And definitely subscribe if you are not yet. All right, I'll see you guys. Hello, Pile 4, and welcome to your Yin Water Rabbit Year reading. This is you guys. You picked this beautiful pyrite stone, and we're just going to kind of place it over here during your reading. And we're going to start, there's two parts to this reading. We're going to start with the one that's sort of like exploring how the energy of the Yin Water Rabbit will make you feel. And then the second part is we'll look at how, or like what kind of environment, circumstances, outer world things does that energy bring into your life this year. And absolutely, I've found that, you know, I mean, obviously there's correspondence, and as above, so below, as within, so without. There is a correspondence here, and I've definitely seen that very profoundly in these readings. It's at moments been hard to segregate one from the other, but yeah, we'll do our best here. So we'll look first at how is this energy of the Yin Water Rabbit making you feel this year. Gorgeous Anahata. Heart chakra. I mean, this is, to me, this is the ultimate chakra. It's the one that should be the one in charge. It should be the one that takes the lead in our life, that directs us, that tells us where to go, what to do, how to love, that life is love, that, just a heart knowing, a heart sensing, a heart, it's the courage, the director, the everything. It emanates our energy. So this year's energy is really putting you in touch with your heart, and more of a heart, feeling your heart, being in touch with your heart, hence a little bit more of a heart-centered path. Or, we're going to pull some tarot cards to see what this results in, being much more heart-centered this year, or your heart being sort of amplified because of these energies. What is that doing for you? More context around how this feels. Beautiful King of Pentacles. Will of Mars, which is the Tower. Whoops. I'll take the top one, Hanged Man, and then one more. Queen of Cups, gorgeous. Okay, so in the context of coming from and through and being in touch with your heart this year, it may, I'm definitely getting clues because of what comes of this, is that it's possible in the past, couple of years you have not been as in touch with your heart as you are going to be this year, and seeing through your heart may have you be like seeing things from a very different perspective that feels a little bit contrary to the way you've been seen before, hence how you've been paving your path in life. And suddenly this kind of flip of perspective and seeing much more correctly about your path because of that connection to heart. You may leave aspects of the path you've been treading behind to follow something a little bit more in touch with your heart and soul. And we see that with the Queen of Cups. I think, yeah, so I'm getting a clear picture here. I think you've been on a little bit more of a material centered, wanting sort of mastery in the material realm, kind of a very young, centered path in life, which there's nothing wrong with if your heart feels connected to that. But I think your heart really opens up this year and is kind of like, what sort of actual fulfillment has this brought me? What happiness has this brought me? And these questions are going to just have you seeing differently and seeing different paths you could take and choosing paths that feel a certain way rather than appear a certain way. So this water rabbit energy is very sensitive. The rabbit's very, very sensitive. And then that water energy can really purify layers around us. And talking about this, make how you feel like purifying all the layers of self. So the different layers of our body, which is like the physical body, the mental body, and the emotional or astral body. So it's like really clearing these up, and your heart then is able to kind of step forward, and that clearing that's happened, I think it's just going to see alternative way to direct life that feels like it comes from a much more soul-centered place, and a place that feels good and that brings actual fulfillment, not apparent fulfillment. So even though, some of this sounds a little bit challenging, in actuality, where you end up by the end of Rabbit Year, if you really stay connected to your heart, is just a feeling of like you are on a path that fulfills you, that feels right. So fulfill, I'm playing with words here now, instead of that fulfill being F-I-L-L, fulfill, F-E-E-L, fulfilling being full of the right feeling, and really like stepping into that, not as a beginner though. It's like, we can always take things that we've learned from our past and then reapply them to something else, and that sometimes allows us to not step into something as such a beginner, but using our expertise can already kind of slide into ways of being in a new realm that are already somewhat established. And that's what happens here. So what you end up leaving behind isn't so much a leaving behind, it's just a change of focus. You're still going to come out the end in a really mastered, commanding place, because I think you have that energy about you, but it's just different. Like you're just going for more of how things feel than how they appear. And really understanding the distinction between that, because I think that's been confusing for you in some ways, of like it feeling good to have things appear good, but that being also a little bit hollow, and really having some experiences in how you feel this year of like getting it, like, oh, feel has nothing to do with appear. And I've kind of convoluted that a little bit, and it's like you get it this year, and you really, really step towards the things that feel good. Okay. I also want to end this aspect of your reading, pull a card from what's called the Wise Animal Body deck, and this is some wisdom because we're talking about how things feel for your body this year. And this is a deck that's new to me, and it's been very rare that I've had a deck feel so magical to me and always on the money about the advice I get when I pull a card from it. Okay, so attend and gut. So this is connected to the sacral chakra, which makes sense to me, like really getting in touch with what feels good. This is the sensual chakra, what feels right, what feels good. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book on this because the descriptions are very thorough and beautiful and well researched. Okay, so also known as the sacral chakra or Svadhisthana, this is the center of matters having to do with sex, creativity, and instincts. It is the bridge between where we root to the earth and where our core values and connections arise from. Yeah, I mean, that's so in line with what I've already said. This is the source, the fountain, the wellspring of our life force energy as it takes form into who and what we are in this lifetime. So really paying attention to senses as giving form to your life and how that feels. The health and robustness of this energy can be greatly affected by our sense of safety and groundedness, which is why it is important to tend to the wellness of that chakra as often as possible, which is the root chakra, so that our sexual and instinctual energies can be well formed. So starting with root chakra, and I've seen that in almost every pile, and I think maybe it has something to do with sort of the etherealness of Water Rabbit being a little ungrounded. I think a lot of advice has been coming through for every pile that it's important to stay grounded this year in order to find our energy and restore energy, as well as take the magic of the energy of Water Rabbit and being able to manifest it into the 3D, ground it, mold it. But specifically for you, in terms of how you're feeling, this is about getting in touch with how things literally feel, how your senses connect to them. And I think the gut also is where our intuition lies. And so really paying attention to those inner knowings and those things of like, when you know type of feeling. And when intuition comes through, a lot of times people describe the way it feels as sort of like an anchor or a grounding or a calmness. So paying attention to that as well. Okay, now we are going to move into how this Water Rabbit year, what kind of things is it going to bring into your life? What kind of outside energies, circumstances is it going to bring? Which there's, correspondence. It's just a reflection of how we feel inside, but we'll see. Beautiful voyage. Well, that's fun. So potentially like some, this year may bring some travel or a big adventure of some sort into your life. And then we've got Bat. Listen up. You are working through deep soul patterns. Release any outdated beliefs that surface. What I'm feeling from this is that the outside, like the energy that Water Rabbit is bringing into your world externally is like it's bringing openings to travel either in the world or potentially for a lot of you, also internally, like internal voyages, really exploring your inner world that maybe for some of you hasn't been as explored as it could be. And maybe, you know, sometimes that's also a correspondence. Sometimes when we travel externally, we see things internally different and go through a lot of changes internally as we kind of widen our lens and see through different cultures and places and experiences. So however it comes, whatever, you know, and I think it'll be a multifaceted ways, but I think there's a lot of energy coming into your life that is opening up potentials for, you know, voyages that will shift, outdated beliefs and reworking those soul patterns. Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about that there. Okay, let's pick some tarot cards to get some context about this. Yeah. Four of Swords. Nine of Wands. That's definitely a voyage card. Ten of Wands. Both 9 and 10 of Wands have total Sagittarian energy, which Sagittarius has voyage energy, so that's massive confirmation. 9 of Pentacles, that's beautiful. Okay, one more. 7 of Swords. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that what I said before is accurate. I think you're going to maybe be doing voyages in many different ways. Some internally, some externally, some at the same time. And it is, I think this process you're going through, how the year feels to you, of like getting much, much more in touch with your inner life rather than externally driven sense of self. I think it's shaking you a little bit. It's, you know, it can be really hard to make those kinds of big shifts in orientation. So I think it's challenging you, but like in really positive ways, even though at some points it may feel, the word positive may not feel quite like what you're experiencing. In the end, it's a very positive shift. And I think it's like a big year of seeking, a big year of asking questions, a big year of really shaking up your perceptions and how you view the world and what your view of the world has been molded by in the past versus what you want it to be molded by going forward. And that shift from sort of more externally normalized societal ways towards a more personal, soul-oriented way. It's, you know, when we go through shifts, it can be really destabilizing. And so I think there are aspects of this year that the events of outer life are going to have you really grasping to try and balance life the way back to how it was before, but also knowing that you can't quite go back. And like, so where do I find that balance? Because things feel unstable right now. And what's coming through is just like, stick with it, keep pushing into the hard questions, the seeking, the things that push your boundaries, that push your beliefs, that push your sense of what truth is and what's your truth and what is truth in the world and how is truth molded by perspective. And I think that you're going to be seeing and exposed to so many different ways of viewing and thinking about the world and about the self. And it's going to have you a little bit, just like uncentered, a little unstable, a little confused. And what I'm feeling about this is like looking for masters. That saying of fake it till you make it, that's what's coming through here. Whatever the world exposes you to in terms of perspectives and maybe different cultures, different belief systems, different whatever it is, different wisdoms, different practices, look for masters in these and really inform yourself through these masters, whether it's reading a book, going to classes, whatever it is. Use them as a model and fake it till you make it. And you will start to, as you explore and experiment and try so many new things and different things and lean into instability as actually liberating you from being boxed into a life that you're growing out of, as being like lean into this as being exciting, as really shifting and enlivening your life in new ways. I think it's like you're going to have some time of like initially when you kind of push into pushing your boundaries around what it means to be fulfilled and being exposed to a lot of different ways of seeing this and feeling it. It's going to be destabilizing and kind of scary at first, but then I think halfway through this rabbit year, all of a sudden it's like you're going to feel liberated and it's going to feel exciting, and being a little bit unattached to any one way of doing or thinking suddenly just feels totally enlivening, and you just get to try on so many different ways of doing and being and thinking, and suddenly it's like you get so clear because the heart and the gut being alive this year. So your heart as your truth, as your leader, and your gut as your intuition and that inner knowing are very alive in you, and they're going to inform you when it feels right, when it is right. But you have to try on a whole bunch of stuff. You have to experiment. You have to voyage inside and outside of yourself. So it's a big exploratory year. But by the end of the year, you're going to find that thing that just hits, that you're like, oh, this is my rhythm. This is what makes me feel good. This is where I feel good in my body. This is where I feel good in my soul. This is where I have my sovereignty because I know this territory. This is where I'm meant to be. It feels like home. It's going to come, but it's going to require some exploring and some questioning and some leaving old ways of feeling balanced and having things patterned in your life behind. And that's going to be hard at first, but then it's going to be really effing exciting. And then you're really going to find something so, there aren't words, just so perfect for you. And your sense of what gives you fulfillment, because that's been the ultimate question for me from the start about your journey this year. You're going to find that. You're going to find what it is that actually fulfills you. And you're going to step into that with some authority, with some command, but in a totally different way of doing authority and command, in a much more nourishing, caring, tender way. Okay, actually, don't want to go here yet. We're going to do a couple of tea leaf oracles to end this. And then very last, a message from the crystal realm for you guys. Okay, caterpillar, things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Yeah, I mean that completely. I think that you're already feeling this thing of like, I need fulfillment. I need to feel fulfillment in such a different way. And that feeling of not feeling connected to fulfillment is, it's not always going to feel how it feels right now. A change is coming for, you know, really getting it. Ink pot, problems to be resolved. Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about this. Okay, one more. Wind chimes, peace and harmony. And I think that's what you find in the end. And, you know, you get what you put into. So the more you push your boundaries to explore, to question, to try different things, to travel inwardly and outwardly in ways that, you know, push your perspectives and outside of your boundaries and comfort zones. A lot can be found from this for you guys this year. Okay, so our last message from the crystal realm. Aragonite, release your emotional baggage. Yeah. Because by doing that and lightening the load of that emotional baggage from not understanding how to be fulfilled, things lighten up. You lean into this time of exploration and experimentation and that feeling enlivening, and the quicker you can release old emotional baggage, the quicker you get to that more exciting phase of being in this experimental place. All right, so that is your water rabbit year. I would say of the 4 piles, this is one of the more challenging ones, but when we have more challenging things, the payoff is greater. And the first 3 piles, as magical and just like so beautiful as they were, in terms of results, by the end of the year, you guys have it on all of them. It's a much more difficult year for you than the other 3 piles, but that payoff is so much greater as well. So overall, that water rabbit energy coming in is really, wow. I mean, I think it's going to really be a beautiful year for everyone, whether it's all the way through or the payoff at the end. It's just, I don't know, it's just bringing magic. It's just bringing magic is all I can say. All right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. It's the easiest way to support my channel. Little comments are always fun to read if, you know, there's things on your mind about this. And definitely subscribe if you're not yet. All right, happy rabbit year. See you guys.